Three takeaways from Atlanta United's 3-0 loss to Orlando City at Intuition Stadium. In Orlando, Sydney and Tyler and Henry with you as guys we take another look at yet another poor effort for Atlanta United. Back-to-back matches, guys, where they've lost 3-0. Let's just get into it. Takeaway number one, Miguel Marone, right? He was brought in as a player who obviously knows the system, knows Atlanta United, knows the culture, won a championship with Atlanta United. But guys, I mean, I don't know if he's playing hero ball. I don't know if he just isn't the right fit. I don't know if it's just something as simple as here. I know where you're going to go with this. Is he just being played out of position, but he hasn't been the same player that we're used to, and it's just every player. I don't know if you can really pick out a lot of players who had a great match tonight, but I wasn't really impressed with Miguel Miro, let's be honest. But again, you play him on the right wing. I mean, he has some good moments, but not enough of them, and just ultimately just struggles, I feel like, for the good portion of the match. Henry, probably just start with you because I know you've campaigned for starting him in the middle of the pitch at attacking midfielder to 10, and hasn't really happened at this point.
Yeah, and I don't really have much hope for it happening anytime soon. Look, Miggy's a player that excelled playing centrally when he was here the first time around. That's what got him newcomer of the year in 2017 and MVP finalist in 17 and 18.
Yeah.
It was him being in the central part of the pitch. He loves to be on the ball, and he actively seeks out the ball. And that's why when he plays wide, you see him cutting inside a lot because he wants to find the ball and he wants to get on the ball, which is great if he's playing centrally where he can get the ball, where he has a little bit more room to maneuver. But the problem is when he plays on the wing, he can get isolated very easily, especially when the team isn't really making any off-the-ball runs, which was a big frustration in this game for me because it feels like they kind of give up when they go forward. Like the runs aren't being rewarded, and so they don't make the runs, and so it's a negative feedback loop in a sense. But really, especially for Miggy, because he kind of takes the ball and he tries to dribble out of traffic. Well, when you're on the side, it's very easy for the defenders to kind of push you towards the sideline and then, kind of make you ineffective. So, yeah, it wasn't a good game for him. But I still think if he plays centrally, he plays a little better. And we see a more creative version of him, a more creative 10. He said it himself. He prefers to play the 10. So I'm 100% for playing him in that position. The other thing is, though, and I tweeted about this, I think, after the last game, like maybe bringing Miggy back was a mistake, not because he was a bad player then or because, we wouldn't want to see him here. No, I would love to see Miggy in Atlanta. He's a legend and he's always going to be. But is he the right player for this Atlanta side at this moment is the question. You brought him in to be a winger, right? He has played winger, obviously, at Newcastle, but it's not his best position. Let's be real. It's not where he feels the most comfortable. And besides, what did Garth preach to us about the DPs when he got here? He wants prime age players. He wants players between the ages of 24 and 29. Well, you signed Miggy very close to his 31st birthday. So he's already out of that scope. And he's at a position, winger, where you really want the speed. You really want a player who's, younger, I would like to say, because they're more dynamic. And it's proven statistically that wingers, as they age, tend to decline with their performances. So for me, it's a combination of those factors. But I think if you play him centrally, it unlocks him a little bit more. And there's something that I'm going to publish on the website sometime soon, kind of showing, again, why I think he would work in that position.
Right. Tyler? Anything?
Top 3 winger in MLS? Too soon?
If he had some help, you're playing a 4-2-3-1. You might as well be playing a 3-1 because nobody else between the back and the front is doing anything to help the chemistry of this team. When you're playing the formation that you're trying to play, the chemistry between Brooks Lennon and Miggy has to be spot on. And it's not. It's non-existent. What you're seeing is two guys who are playing two completely separate types of football entirely. And look, if I have to go back and be like, hey, I was wrong about the top three wing, whatever, I don't care. At the end of the day, we know that Miggy's natural position, the one that he has thrived at this club and at other clubs, has been the number 10. I think Miguel Almiron is a better number 10 than Alexei Miranchuk. Alexei Miranchuk
sure.
has had plenty of time
100%.
to settle in. So I'm not pinning this on Miggy. This is the whole freaking team. This was a shit performance from the entire team, just like last week was a shit performance. It's not getting any better. It doesn't look like the players are out there enjoying themselves. It doesn't look like they're, trying. Now, I get it. I'm not going to sit here and second guess what their motivations are. But what we see doesn't look like they're motivated. And I mean, they may be giving it their all. Whatever. That might be it. But what we're seeing as fans, media, journalists, pundits, whatever, is that you have 11 guys out there and nobody knows what anybody else is doing. That's what it looks like. You've got players that are being played in I think, our opinion, out of position. There's no chemistry. If you're going to put somebody in a position that maybe they have played before and they have been successful at, you have to make sure the guys around them know what each other are going to do. And the right wing, the left wing, I mean, you just got rid of Sean De Silva, right? Like your left wing is in shambles because Pedro Amador is trying to figure out who's going to play in front of him any given day. The right wing, you got Brooks Lennon and you have Miggy, and that pairing just has not connected at all.
Yeah.
But as far as Miggy personally in this game, I mean, yeah, like he laid a stinker. So did everybody else. It was not flattering for this team at all. It was actually very pathetic. And I hate to say that. I'm not trying to be negative, but it's crap right now. And it's got to, like, something has to change. And I'm not talking nuclear option like fire Ronnie Dyla or whatever, but you've got to try something different. I had that conversation with Parkey a couple of days ago. He advocated for a 3-5-2. Whatever. If the 3-5-2 is the way, you put Miggy centrally, maybe you lose Saba, whatever. But you've got to do something different, because what you're doing right now, Ronnie Dyla said, and I'm about to get off my soapbox, but Ronnie Dyla said, and I put it on scarvesandspikes.com, this was a couple of weeks ago, we're creating chances. If we weren't creating chances, I'd be worried. Well, now you're a couple of
Now you're not.
really not creating chances, and it looks very, very sad. It looks apathetic. It looks lazy. It looks like you are just the worst team out there on any given day.
Yeah. So
now it's time to be concerned.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, it kind of takes us to, takeaway number 2 is, where's the heart? This is now back-to-back matches where you've lost 3-0. I mean, that's really, just inexcusable. And the fact of the matter is, I mean, you would like to have thoughts that, hey, you lost 3-0 at Philadelphia, that'll wake you up. Then you go and do the same exact thing against Orlando City on the road. You've lost 3 matches in a row. You've been shut out for who knows how long, how many minutes in a row. And it's just, I don't think you had a shot on goal tonight, did you? No shots on goal the entire night. I mean, what has to happen? What has to happen to get this team playing good football? If losing 3-0 at the Philadelphia Union didn't wake you up, like, what is going to? I mean, seriously, it's just so frustrating to watch this team just perform this poorly a week after you just played terribly at Philadelphia. Maybe you need that Michael Parker's in the locker room. Maybe you need that Jeff Lorenz in the locker room, because I don't see it now. And again, where's the passion? Where's the heart? Where's the dignity for this badge that players aren't putting out the effort they need to put out, match in and match out? Michael Parker said it. You need players in here that know how to do whatever it takes. They know how to, they need to be locked in 24 hours a day to try to get 3 points week in, week out. It's not happening, and we're not seeing it with this club, and it's just beyond belief at this point. Well, someone else say something, please.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say right at this point.
No, I mean,
Nashville is, at the time of this recording, Nashville's beating Chicago 5-0, by the way.
6. They just scored
6-0, and you play Nashville.
And they come home
next Saturday. I guess you have to hope that Nashville's gotten all the goals out of their system at this point.
Oh my gosh, I don't. Look, you go into these games expecting Atlanta to lose every single time now, because it's pathetic the way that they play. It's like the players don't really care. You kind of see it in the way that they move. You kind of see in the way that they play. It just seems very careless, and really, especially kind of the last goal that they conceded today, it just looked like they were kind of whatevering it. Horrible. At that point. It's so casual, and I hate that. And you won't make the runs off the ball. You don't really make any effort to get forward. It's, what kind of soccer is this? I don't even think you could call this soccer. But at the end of the day, we could talk about tactics all we want. We could talk about runs. We could talk about positions and formations and whatever. But at the end of the day, if the players don't care, if the players don't give their all, if the players don't feel the badge, then none of this matters. Because if the players aren't playing because of their love for the club, because of their love for soccer, right? Because of their passion, then we're never going to see them at their best versions. And I don't like these guys. It's a talented group, but we are not seeing anywhere near the level of talent that we should be seeing from these guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know what can be done at this point to bring that out. I feel like if we're talking about how do we get these players, that's the question I get a lot. How do we motivate these players? I'm like, why do they need to be motivated?
Exactly.
You're being paid to play soccer, dude.
Yeah.
You're being paid to go into a stadium in front of 40-something thousand fans every week and play soccer. You really need more of a motivation than that? You really need more of a motivation than going out into one of the most beautiful stadiums on the continent in front of one of the most loyal fan bases in this country. And you need more motivation? Yeah. Come on. That's ridiculous to me. It's embarrassing to see the way that they're playing right now. For those of us who have been here from the start and have seen what this club was before in the first few years, like, they've fallen off just a long way. And it is so sad. It's so just sad to see it happen. And at this point, I don't see any hope for it getting better. There's no improvement. There is no improvement. Things look like they're getting worse every week. And at this point, it's like, I look at the calendar, and we'll talk about this in a second, but I look at the calendar, I'm like, these guys aren't going to win a game for months. When is the next game that they could reasonably win? They're not winning any games playing this way. At least not against. We have a 6-game away stretch coming up. I can't go anymore. But it's just something has to change. Something has to change. Someone has to knock some sense into these players. Something has to change, because this cannot continue. They can't go more weeks. They can't go more games like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to show up and show that you freaking give a crap. What are we doing right now? This is not acceptable. And I know Ronnie Dyla and the coaching staff and Garth and Chris and the players themselves, I know they know this. Like, this is not like, we're beating a dead horse at this point. And I think that's what's so frustrating, because it feels like everybody, us as media, MLS, like national media that doesn't even cover MLS like regularly, is looking at Atlanta United going, what is going on there?
Yeah.
Like, they have the money, they have the resources, they have the fans, they have the stadium. They have everything that they need. And you've gotten worse. You have the worst start. And I don't want to keep bringing that stat up, but at some point, though, like that should, as a player, Atlanta's been around since 2017. If you are a player on this roster right now that's getting regular, especially regular starters, you should be freaking embarrassed. You should be embarrassed.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah.
Do y'all think Ronnie Dylo has lost the locker room?
No, I don't think so. But
No.
I mean, you have to
No, but
unite this locker room somehow.
I don't know that he knows what to do to fix it, because I think it falls into that same category of everything I was just saying. Like, what do you do to fix it? Right now, like, I mean, we always say it's the coach's job, and it is. But none of us see, like, as much access as we do have. We don't know what's going on the day in and day out type stuff, right? In the locker room, at halftime, like all those kind of things. So but we see how he acts out on the pitch, out on the training pitch, and all that kind of stuff. And it seems like he's doing all the right things in terms of, like, you know, getting on the players when they're doing something wrong, praising them when they're doing something right. But there is something much deeper than that right now. And it could just be absolute morale is in the dumps. But you've got to figure it out. You have to figure this out, or it's going to be a very, very long season that is going to cost a lot of people their jobs. And I don't want to see that. No,
likewise. I think we can all three agree, you know, certainly on that point. So takeaway number 3, you know, how low can you go? Nashville's beating the leading at the time of recording, Nashville beating the living daylights out of Chicago. Play Nashville next at home, Chicago on the road, Austin on the road. And then you come back home to play Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and Orlando. And then you have your 6-game away streak. So 6 more matches to go before you go on the road for 6 matches in a row. I mean, at the risk of hyperbole, it's tough to see at this point a win for Atlanta United. Nashville will be coming in on a high after just hammering Chicago. You go on the road. You've already proven you can't really win on the road. Then you take on probably the top 3 teams of the Eastern Conference right now. I mean, where's the next win? I mean, we mentioned it last time. Just when you think Atlanta United hit rock bottom, they keep on digging, and I feel like it's going to be a lot more digging before they get out of this. Maybe the fact that you're back at home against Nashville does something to you, but no, again, just looking at the schedule is just tough to see when a next win will come, to be honest. I mean, what are you guys? Can you guys see anything? Or
I'm jumping out of order real quick.
You're good.
And I'm only gonna. I'm saying this because, you know, because we're all looking at the schedule and we're thinking, like, what are you gonna do here? Because if you play like you just did, and you play like you did last week and the week before, you're not winning anything. Period. Like, you're not playing good soccer. You're not playing kind of good soccer. What they need to figure out right now is how to stop beating themselves. Like, forget beating other teams. Stop beating yourself. You are going into each match, and from the opening whistle, you don't look urgent. You don't look like you want to be there. And again, we could ask X player right now that plays for Atlanta United, hey, complete honesty, give them the truth serum. They have to be honest. They might tell you, yeah, I want to be here. But what fans are seeing on the pitch is not that they want to be here. From the opening whistle, it doesn't look like these players want to be out there. And
that's a few players.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, most.
That has to be everybody. That's the point.
This thing, and like 2-3 guys can't fix the team. This has to be a team, and that's really the whole encompassing issue is you've got players that just, again, they don't have chemistry. And I don't know what you need to do to fix that, because you had preseason, and in preseason things were progressing. Like, it looked like things were going in the right direction. And then all of a sudden you hit a rough patch at the beginning of the season, and you started the skid of all hell. And it is not looking like it's getting any better. So you got to focus. Like, I always hated last year and the year before and the year before that when we would hear, players kind of respond to questions about, would you kind of focus on ourselves? I couldn't stand that. I was like, no, I want to know what you're going to do to fix this, like going forward. But no, like y'all need to fix yourself. Yeah. Forget everything else, man. Fix what's going on in the locker room and get your shit together and start acting like you want to play soccer for Atlanta United in front of 45,000 fans every week. Because it doesn't look like that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this team needs someone to bring kind of the players together and kind of we've talked about this, the chemistry and the kind of bring these guys together and I mean, we saw Parto Slish and Tristan Mayumba throw down in the middle of training. Like, it feels like both the chemistry and the morale are at a rock bottom. And I don't know that Ronnie Dyla is the guy that knows how to get this team out of this ditch. It's frustrating. Like Dyla from a soccer perspective, a purely tactical soccer perspective, I think works. I think he would be. I think he's a guy that knows his soccer. When we're talking about the man management of things, I really don't think he has that. And there were, I'll go back. There were reports. I'm not saying this confirmed or anything, but there are reports that one of the reasons he kind of left his last job in Saudi Arabia was because he, problems in the locker room. And so I think you put that into context and it kind of feels like that may be following him a little bit. Now I'll share this. Look, again, I said, I looked at the calendar. I don't really see a game in the foreseeable future that this team wins the way that they're going, unless there is some miraculous, like they have an intervention in training this week and they suddenly, remember who they were before or something. I don't know, like Mighty Ducks type thing. Right. But I'll go ahead and tell you this little tidbit. Atlanta is currently 2 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws, worst start in franchise history. Gabriel Heinze was fired after a 2-7-4 record. Pineda was fired after a 4-8-4 record last season. I don't see where this team gets any future wins in the next, 11 games, where you have a series of tough opponents at home, right, and you have an away stretch of 6 games. Like I know people, like, I'm not typically one to say that the coach is the problem, and I know that the coach isn't the only problem here, but it just feels like, man, how can this team get worse? Yeah, more and more and more. And if you need a coach that knows how to manage these people, to kind of change the mindset, to bring this team together, I can't say that Ronnie Dyla is the guy. From what I've seen from him, from what I've from my observation, I don't think he's the guy.
Well, I'm sure the fans will have plenty to say about whether Ronnie Dyla is the guy or not, but it's clear that something, I don't know what it is, but something has to change to get this team back on the right track. SweetwaterBrew.com, big star sponsor, Sweetwater Brewing Company, based here in Atlanta. Rowdy 420 Ale, all their selection of ales, brews, etc. Go to sweetwaterbrew.com for more information, as well as where to buy yourself a case or a can of Sweetwater Brewing Company products.
To buy a few.
What? Yes, yeah, exactly. Next Saturday at the Signia by Hilton Atlanta at the Nest on 4. We will be there before the Atlanta United versus Nashville SC match. I don't know how it's going to go at this point, considering
Nashville's up 7-1, by the way.
Nashville is up 7-1 to Chicago as we speak. I don't know how it's going to go against Atlanta, but we'll be there before the match. Join us there. And we'll be back tomorrow night, Sunday night, 9 p.m. to talk about this even more, as if you want to relive it even more. Because I know you did. I know you did.
Bring all your questions and all your
comments. We'll try to answer them the best we can. We'll try. Keyword try. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.